By the end of this video, you are going to understand how to shoot just like Kevin Durant. Now, a pass breakdown of form would probably look something like this. I would start with just how good his upper body is and how he's sitting into those hips and established a really good foundation, allowing himself a nice, clear path to be able to move that ball to his two position. And from there, we probably go on to where his set point was, where the hand was underneath the basketball, the angle that's created at the set point, and just how nicely he's attached his body vertically underneath the basketball. And then we would finish with his finish, namely that follow through, looking like the giraffe neck that I'll tell so many kids, as well as where the guide hand is and how that extends to the basket as well. But what I've come to find is that what I've just pointed out here isn't form. What I've pointed out here is actually just principles. Music flows because of the space between the notes. Shots flow because of the space between the principles I described. And so form becomes less and less about shooting hand here or guide hand here, and more so about how are we moving between these moments in time? How are we taking advantage of these principles to be able to transfer energy from our body into the basketball? And so breaking down form includes the principles you can see, and then the sequencing or the space that we move between all of these things that you can't. In order for effortless looking form, we need to understand sequence. And the very first thing that Kevin Durant does here is he gives this ball a chance to get to a place where his body can still attach under it. Now, in the beginning stages of teaching kids, we'll do really rigid ball raises where the ball will start here, and we'll work on just moving that ball up to what we call our two or a set point while keeping the body completely still, only to start to build this disassociation of being able to move our arms without the body having to come up at the same exact time. Now, what this allows us to do is it allows us to take the momentum that we started to create as that ball starts to make its way up to this position, and then allow the rest of our body to attach under it. We're creating energy up with our arms, getting to that place, what we're going to talk about here in a second, of stabilization, and then allowing the body to attach under. You can think about if you did this in reverse. If you move the shoulders up but then tried to pull up the body, there'd be no real transfer of energy that can take place. But by leading with the basketball, it puts us in a position that we can actually take advantage of how our body attaches under. Now, where he moves this ball to becomes really important, because every great shooter is going to have some type of stabilization right here around this area. Now, where Kevin Durant is going to look different from where Klay Thompson is. We're all going to be built different builds, different athleticism, different strength. But we all have to come to some moment of stabilization, even if it's super quick, that allows us to eventually take advantage of that stabilization when the ball goes to the rim. So what I want you to pay attention to here is this angle that is created is going to be maintained as his lower half starts to extend up. That angle gets carried up into space, and then when he's closer to the peak of his jump, but still on the way up, then the ball moves to the basket. So watch as he hits that angle and continues to carry the ball up while doing it. There's a popular misconception that this would be a two-motion shot because the ball is stopping, but the ball is actually never stopping relative to the ground. So if we watch the basketball as it makes its way up, because of when the legs attach, that ball continues to move up even though the ball is stopping relative to his body. And the finishing touch here for him is every shot that he gets to is going to get back to a place very similar to this. But what you want to watch is how he stabilizes his elbow on the finish. This motion right here, if you watch where the point of his elbow is from the start to the finish, there's very little movement there. And so you can take a very dynamic shot, albeit this isn't a very dynamic one. He's kind of walking into it. And because of your ability to sequence the right way, ball leads the way, angle is found, body attaches under, you can find stillness and repeatability at the top of that shot. And so Kevin Durant finds stillness all the way up until that ball finally starts to make its way to the basket. What may seem like a really hard shot all comes back down to this piece in time where his sequencing proves to be so important for him to repeat the same shot over and over again. And so you may not look exactly like Kevin Durant, and I picked Kevin Durant because he does things that aren't maybe quote unquote traditional, but if you understand form on how we actually move through these points in time, you can start to do what he's doing in your own unique way. And that's understanding that ball does not stop relative to the ground. That ball continues to move, But if we can take advantage of the leverage and the stability that can be found there through the proper sequencing, then you're going to be a heck of a shooter at the end of the day. But if you're focused on understanding, hey, this is what sequencing is, then you're on your way to shooting an effortless looking shot like Kevin Durant or like Devin Booker or like Klay Thompson. All of these guys look entirely different shooting it. If you start to look at form being sequence, being the space that we're covering and how the ball's moving through that, then you're well on your way to shooting just like your favorite player.